great to be here. Thank you for having me and hosting me into this amazing venue. So I come from Dallas, Texas, the state of Longhorns and Cowboys. Anybody a fan of NFL and Dallas Cowboys? Okay. So we seem to be doing pretty well with our rookie quarterback. So the topic of my discussion today is specifically around IoT and IoT security. As a lot of speakers before me alluded that IoT is becoming all pervasive and it's becoming part of our fabric, whether it's personal life or it's our enterprise existence. We have connected devices which are coming around us. So that kind of opens up a dangerous peril situation as well at the same time, because any of these devices can get compromised and can cause impact to our existence, whether we look at it as a personal experience or as an enterprise. So I'm going to specifically talk about what is the impact as these devices become more and more adopted in our lifestyle. So let me take you back a couple of generations when you had this amazing device introduced into the household, and the refrigerator was basically kind of one of those innovative things showing up in a kitchen. And the biggest concern somebody would raise on a device like this or appliance like this in the house would be, how do I make it secure? And the way they would do it is by putting a lock and key on the door. Now let's transition back to our present time, and the appliance as we see it, the refrigerator is kind of evolved into a home hub, and it not only provides you capability to get chilled beer out of it, but you also can have a lot of connected experience. So you can have a refrigerator which can tell you through a mobile app what exactly is inside the refrigerator. If you're running out of something, it can actually order groceries for you. You can maintain your recipes. You can have a social interaction. You can do cooking sessions with your friends, family, or people around the world using some of the connected capabilities of this device. Now, if the device gets compromised, if this appliance gets compromised in your household, it can actually become a hostile entity. And as we explore this presentation, we kind of going to go discuss about what can be the impact of something as inconsequential as a refrigerator which has been compromised in your household, how it can affect your lifestyle. So let's look at some of the events which have been happening recently and what has been making news. So recently there was news about 100,000 appliances, refrigerators, televisions and things which were hacked and compromised, and it was used to send out almost 750,000 spam emails. So that was a pretty big event. And then just a few weeks back, I think last month, there was a massive denial of service attack, distributed denial of service attack. And it happened in US. And what these hackers did was they took control of tens of millions of IoT devices, and then they sent out requests to popular websites like Netflix and Twitter, and they overwhelmed them with these requests. So normal people who wanted to access these services could not. So pretty much they took down half of the internet in US using these connected devices. There have been incidents where hackers have got control over baby monitors, and they have eavesdropped on people and scared children in their room. So there have been situations where people have taken remote control over connected cars. Can you imagine driving down the highway and having to listen to country music for 5 hours because you can't change the channel? So these are different type of elements which can impact a lifestyle, especially if you have these connected devices as part of the fabric of your existence. So I would like to ask audience this question. How many of you guys think you have less than 5 connected devices around you? Can people raise their hand and tell me if, how many people think they have more than 5 connected devices? All right, so that kind of shows that we are kind of existing in a evolving connected lifestyle. And if I was to just count the kind of things which we can see around us which are connected, like from obvious choices of mobile and laptop to a connected watch. You can have connected thermostat, you can have connected camera, security system, irrigation system, you can have connected door. So there are a bunch of these variety of devices which are coming in, which are connected. They have certain amount of capabilities where you can control them through a mobile app, and you have remote capabilities. So what happens when these type of devices start getting compromised? So if a person with malicious intent takes over a device without the knowledge of the owner, we call it in the industry as a bot, B-O-T. So an army of these zombie devices, when they are aggregated together, they become what is called as a botnet. And a botnet is like a bunch of devices which can be aggregated to orchestrate an attack. That attack can be at a city level, or it can be targeted towards an enterprise, or it can be targeted towards an individual as well. So I mean, it's a reality. This denial of service attack, which happened just a few weeks back, was using a botnet, which was tens of millions of devices, which people forgot to either change the password or didn't have enough IoT security built in, which these hackers were able to control and then aggregate them together to launch this single attack on these websites and services. So why is this really happening? The reason is that IoT is kind of evolving. It's still in the evolving phase, and it's not matured. So a lot of producers and OEMs who are coming with these products to the marketplace, they have not really paid a lot of attention to the security aspect of it, and that's because of the volume. So there's not an inflection point where clear, mature leaders have shown up in that space, like it happened with smartphones, with iPhone and Android showing up. So the market is very segmented and distributed, and the adoption of security is kind of dependent on how some of these OEMs look at the market and whether they want to make the investment to make that happen. So we're still waiting on the inflection moment to happen, where IoT security will become standardized. So what does even IoT security mean? So if you think about it from a point of view of security, hey, many generations back, it would be a lock and key. But when you look at the infrastructure of intelligent IoT devices which can talk to each other, connect to each other, when they're working together, there are various layers or aspects of security which one needs to implement. So if you look at the DNA of IoT security, it's three aspects which needs to be considered. So one of the aspects is related to the device itself. So OEMs, people who are building these devices, if it's a car manufacturer and they're building a smart car, or it's somebody who's building a thermostat inside your house, they have to build in the security in the device so that somebody cannot take control over it and play around with it or cause malicious harm. But at the same time, if the device is secure, but the connectivity is not secure, then you can have somebody come in the middle while you are transmitting your critical data and be able to, listen into that information, and you can have a security breach at the network level. Or even if the network is secure and the device is secure, but the mobile app which you're using, so can you imagine you have a mobile app to open the garage and you press the button once in a while, it opens your neighbor's garage? I mean, that's the kind of thing which can happen if it's not implemented correctly. So just by implementing security at one specific level is not going to solve the problem. It has to be done holistically as part of the ecosystem. And there has to be awareness of when people actually adopt this ecosystem in their environment. So let's look at this picture. It's a pretty tranquil, clean kitchen with a few connected appliances, very unlike my house, which is always a chaos, thanks to my kids. And so let's kind of just focus on a connected appliance such as a refrigerator. So if somebody has taken control over that device, so what can they learn about you? So you might think, hey, they have control over my refrigerator. Maybe they know about how many beer cans I have, or what kind of milk do we drink. But think about it. with the cameras which face inside the fridge, they can understand where you shop. So that means it can create a stalking situation because they can learn where you are likely to show up to do your groceries. By being able to monitor how often you open the door and close the door, they can understand your pattern of behavior inside the house. So they can know exactly what time you get up in the morning or what time you're most likely to be outside the house. So there is all kind of intelligence which can be gathered. By hacking into the camera which faces outward, they can actually monitor the environment around the kitchen. So these are some of the elements which are reality of having these type of connected devices in our environment. But at the same time, what I would like to say is that obviously these devices are enhancing our experience. So if we have the right type of implementation of security, this can be a big advantage for people to have connected devices in their ecosystem. So when I look as an individual, I can have all these appliances, connected cars, some sensors and experience around me. But when I look as an enterprise, the environment is a lot more complicated because there are thousands and thousands of these connected devices, sensors which are around us, even now, which we are not aware of. And sometimes the clear ownership of who owns a particular piece or a node is not clear. So what it opens up is that you can have any of these elements get compromised and nobody learns about it for a very long time till a massive damage is caused. So that is an element which one needs to kind of look at how you address it. So the way to address it is basically do an evaluation of the day one operation, which is basically in the ITIL language. You kind of go and baseline your vulnerabilities, you baseline what you already have in the ecosystem and what are the potentials of somebody compromising those. So you go through the mitigation of removing all those vulnerabilities and eliminating any kind of threat scenarios. After you've done that, you can stop at that particular point of time. You have to go to the what we call as day two operation, which is after you launch, you have to keep monitoring all of these devices to make sure that you have the right alerts and events in place to you manage the threats and make sure that those threats can be addressed and taken care of in the right amount of time. So as we kind of discuss in this event about the innovation and what's coming into the industry, this connected devices can be part of our ecosystem where they can actually be friendly to us if we do the right things to roll them out into our existence. Thank you. So do you guys have any questions?